Chris-Grollnek is a retired police detective, corporal, and active shooting expert. And we always appreciate Chris taking time with us. Chris, welcome back to the show. Here we go again, but let me wish you the best as we start September 2024. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Joe. How you doing today?
You know what? Trying to make sense of a crazy world, as always. Now, because I saw yesterday, I'm going like, what's going on now? 5 people reading here were shot at the West Indian Day Parade in New York. 4 others were killed on a train in Chicago. These things just go by. They go by. People are running for president. President Trump's the only one they're talking about. I've talked to him directly about a presidential inner city task force. He goes to Philly. He goes to the Bronx. He goes to Detroit. No one else cares. Chris, give us the technological advances that we have where we could, say, hey, the cops, maybe they have a radar thing that could tell that there are guns in the area. Remember you said that you can actually track this, correct?
Yes, sir. We've been talking about that for a year and a half before it became monetized, really. I want to make sure that we don't just focus on the horrible ones because they're all horrible, but actually expand the list because you're also talking about what, I believe, off the top of my head, Nashville, Panama City, Florida, Kansas City, wow. Northeastern Washington. Those are all shootings that got zero press coverage, zero, victims that are no longer with us, families affected forever, police that had to respond that are affected because of the scene and tragedy. Yeah. And, we talk about, hey, we can stop these things, and it becomes, of course, politicized, which at this point, it rightfully so. It should be. And, not picking one side or the other, but remaining as neutral, because I think I've briefed both sides of Congress and Senate to include President, but the technological advances, we have the ability to stop these. So let's just go back 70 years. It's been 70 years since we let a child die inside a school fire, right? 70 years, because we got done letting kids die in school fires. We started the advancements of smoke detectors and then fire detectors. A smoke detector goes off, it's annoying, we change the battery. If it goes off, we look around. If we see smoke, we know what to do. We just leave. If a fire detector goes off, it starts sprinklers or some type of argon or halon gas that puts out the, whatever the gases are that put out the fire. And lights go off and doors open. It's all automated, and we all know how to evacuate safely. We don't trample each other. Boy, a gunshot goes off, and everybody loses their mind, rightfully so, because they don't know what to do. And honestly, I don't think they should know what to do. I don't think we should be practicing active shooter drills under duress with children, like last week where a 6-year-old ran out of her shoe, scared to death because they said, hey, we're going to practice this. And, she'll be in emotional or psychological counseling for the next 20 years because of it. So what's the right answer? Exactly what you said. And it's, not even something I sell. I'm behind it because it's a solution. Artificial intelligence, the gun detection. If a gun is presented, imagine Joe Piscopo looking at his cell phone and getting a low, medium, or high priority alert saying, you should evacuate, Joe. You get out of your building. Or your building is, has bullet-resistant glass or some type of film by, say, Clear Armor, and you have some type of apparatus like a vestibule that's ballistic that looks like a desk, Safewood. You have things like that. You can just lock the door and watch them shoot outside and let them go down the road. You're safe, your family's safe, your friends are safe. If it's a school, mall, open environment, it doesn't matter. You're in the geofenced area that got an alert. So some of the issues now, of course, the monetization. People have jumped on board this and said, okay, well, this looks like a $1.1 billion a year industry. Let's just find the cheapest that we can get and sell it at a discount and just make it work. Well, the problem with that is, when you have a business model that doesn't work and your food for thought is make it work as you go, that works for a couple streaming systems, places maybe, but it doesn't always work. And I don't think, playing with the lives of people saying, well, it shouldn't happen here, so we're going to be okay. We'll just put the, what we've got. You go for the guts. You go for the number one thing. Go for the one that the Department of Defense is looking at and actually doing tests with right now, and that their own words, 2 years ahead of anything DOD has. That's Skyla. And I don't own Skyla. I'm just telling you, Skyla AI is the thing that would tell you, Joe, let's be safer. Period.
Well, why don't we push that? It's all we do, and it kills me because the Democrats will say, "Oh, it's a gun violence." They'll say gun violence, and of course, it's so much more than that. But if you could detect that, and you're telling me we can't, and we have these conversations, we got to figure a way to move it along. But you're telling me that maybe in a couple years, the government may actually do something about this, Chris?
I do. I think so. We've created Active Shooter Prevention Project has created something called the PRO model, right? And this is mine, the prevention, response, and options. We've been responding to these things for, let's just take 25 years. Columbine was not the first active shooter, but it was really the first watershed moment for America. Yeah. It took police 45 minutes to get in because they didn't know what they were doing or where they were going, and they really weren't prepared. That does nothing for the victims, the families, and everybody that's, looking back on that right now. So instead, pardon me, that was 1999. Fast forward to Uvalde, 1 hour and 17 minutes. So after billions of dollars spent on response, our response time is actually getting worse. So that would lead logical people to say, response is good, but maybe we should invest in prevention at a tenth of the cost and build out a preventative model. And that's what the prevention, response, and options are. You can prevent the thing. If it goes wrong, you know how to respond. And if you have the right options, there's nothing going to stop you, just like a fire. We get to the fire code, we're ready to go.
So if you're a mayor, if you're a governor, you could bring all these things that you're talking about on the radio, Chris-Grollnek. We could bring them to reality. This is amazing. Let me ask you about the desk. What you could bulletproof your desk too? Did you say?
Oh, there's a company in Minnesota that does. I mean, and I only know this because I've seen them at shows. Yeah. There's a company in Minnesota that it's called Safewood Design. They make a desk that's ballistic. You can just put it in front of a door. If somebody starts shooting and you've denied them access.
Wow.
You can actually legitimately do what we're supposed to do during the 70s of duck and cover. You get behind your desk and you're fine. Yeah. So the tools exist, Joe. It's the will and desire. And I'm a guy about solutions, and I'm not self-promoting anything. I'm telling you that for the first time ever, I will offer our white paper, and I'll give you a link to it. And if anybody wants it to read it, you can be as active shooter resistant as they are fire resistant. And there's no fee. I'm not charging. You contact who you want, read the white paper, do what you're going to do. Has nothing to do with me. My whole thing is a national standard. We're getting there. We have one for response. We don't have one for prevention until mine. And that's what we need.
You know what? We'll stand by for that, Chris. Please, you got the airwaves. Let's push this along. Come back when you can, and let us know where we can get to that white paper. I love it. Chris-Grollnek, thank you for all you're doing, my friend. What a vital, just the necessary chat in these times, Chris-Grollnek. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Have a great day.
You too, indeed. Chris-Grollnek, again, retired police officer and active shooting expert. There are answers. There are solutions. We're on the radio 4 hours every single day. I do 22 hours of radio a week, and I'm telling you, I want solutions at the end of 4 hours, and we get them, and we deliver them, and we talk about them, whether it's the former U.S. ambassador to Israel or Chris-Grollnek telling us how to stop these shootings. And we got, you and I think, as you stay and you listen to the show, let's stay. We'll look for that white paper. By the